So today we're joined by Dr. Othman Shibly. He is the chairman of the Interreligious Concern Committee for Western New York, and also a member of the Network of Religious Communities of Western New York, and has won an award, a New York State award, for distinction for promoting respect for diversity. And he's here to talk to us today about his work on that frontier and the current situation in Syria.
Yes. Yes, our Interreligious Concern Committee of Western New York deals with issues related to the communities, different communities, what dear to them, and how they view the world issues. And we are our committee represents most of the religions of Western New York, whether they are Muslim, Jewish, Christians, Buddhist, and different kind of committees. We work together.
And just a little bit on your background. You're Syrian-American and Muslim?
Yes,
Okay.
American Syrian Muslim. Yes,
Okay.
I came 20 years ago, and I'm involved in promoting respect of diversity and building bridges here, and also to transfer the interfaith dialogue to interfaith service.
So given what's been going on in the Middle East right now, I've heard you've held, especially Syria, I heard you guys have held 2 emergency meetings in the past few weeks.
Right. In the past, in fact, in the past 1 week, we had 2 meetings, emergency meetings discussing the issues that's going on in Syria. Not in terms of the political aspects, like what's going on from the political aspect, but in terms of the human life and human suffering. We were very concerned about the loss of innocent lives of people in Syria, and we feel that the Syrian government in particular, regardless of the media stories, who is doing this, they are responsible for the protection of people. So we call upon the Syrian government to respect the people and protect them as well. And in this meeting, we came up with a statement that will be submitted to the media news, as well as to the people who are responsible and who can help in this issue. We are thinking also to submit it to the Syrian people and government through the Syrian embassy here. So if you want, I can read part of this.
That would be great if you could just read a section.
Sure, because it will go anyway out to the public in this coming Monday. So basically, we said we are the people of faith, different faith, feel called to speak out against the actions by the Syrian regime, which have resulted in the death of non-violent protesters. We are in total agreement with Amnesty International that serious action is needed to halt the killing and the lack of permitting people to exercise the right to peacefully protest or express their opinion. We also believe very strongly that withholding of food and water from people, as reportedly is happening in Daraa city, south of Syria, is cruel, unjust, and repressive. These events indicate the need for urgent actions. The following are possible actions called on by the Amnesty International. First, refer those who are responsible, even if they were from the Syrian government, to the criminal court, impose, and we agree in imposing arm embargo and freezing abroad all assets of those people who are responsible for these kind of actions. We also believe that the breaches of human rights violations are excessive and inclusive of arbitrary arrest, detention, etc. We call upon the Syrian government to immediately hold the unlawful killing, murder, use of excessive force, arbitrary arrest, and the withholding of food and water from its citizens.
So, despite what you've mentioned, all the atrocities that you mentioned here, You mentioned earlier to me that you still think reform might be possible with Assad in power.
Yeah, for me, as like, you know, I spent all my life promoting respect of diversity, building bridges. So I'm kind of person who like to promote dialogue, and I think I'm still a believer that that reconciliation can be done with the Syrian government headed by President Assad. I trust and I feel things can be changed toward peace. What I my vision is, and what I call for all this past few weeks, is to form a reconciliation national committee from wise people from different backgrounds, including in particular the opposition.
And I know that earlier this month you were actually in Syria, or early in April,
Mhm.
and you met with some people in the Syrian government. How were your suggestions taken?
No, they were. I mean, I met with probably not high level, but middle level in the Ministry of Expatriates and Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and they were very welcoming to my suggestion. I suggested one thing, like one of the things I suggested. I told them the media should do better job. The people who lost their I told them that the media only report about people who lost their lives from the army. I said to them that those people who lost their lives from the army, they are our right eye. And people who lost their lives from the people, instantly, they are our left eyes. Both are the Syrian people. So we feel ache, the pain, the same, whether people, they are all human beings, whether they are from the army or security forces or the people. So I called upon the media to be more inclusive to all Syrian people, not to be one side or the other.
And your plan kind of hinges on people being able to trust Assad to kind of run this dialogue. Do you think that's still possible?
Yes, for that reason, because there is a problem with the credibility, unfortunately, that the Syrian government have promised few things and they were not delivered. For that reason, Syrian government alone cannot do the reform. They need they cannot do it alone. They have to be partnered with the opposition as well. So my call is that the opposition, the true honest opposition, and they are not to be picked by the Syrian government. They have to be picked by the people. And I define and I identify the opposition by those people who are widely respected among and accepted among the Syrian population in the street, not those opposition that they are accepted by the Syrian government. They should be accepted and picked by the people of Syria.
And how do you initiate this process of reform? How do you does the Syrian government have to start this process, or does the international community?
I think now I call upon Syrian government to start this, and then if they don't do it, then probably other people they should get involved. But Syrian government should start this and call upon, and not they should not themselves, the Syrian government, identify and name the people that they want to do dialogue. Then if they want to do dialogue with people that they identify, that's wrong. That's called convenient dialogue, and it is not acceptable. It doesn't lead anywhere. It should be the honest dialogue, the truthful dialogue, even if it is inconvenient. So those people who are respected by the Syrian street, people in the street, they can observe, monitor that there is reform happening, and they can speak to the people, tell them that we see some progress, and people trust them. So because there is lack of trust between the people and the Syrian government. So
Well,
for that reason, we call on this to happen, reconciliation committee.
well, thank you very much. I know you have to go pack for another trip, so I will let you go. And thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much.